Hi everyone, Helen Blunden here at Activate Learn on Twitter. It is time for another book review, and this time round it is Ant Middleton's The Fear Bubble, Harness Fear and Live Without Limits. Now, for those of you who are thinking, didn't you just do a review of his latest book, Zero Negativity? Well, yeah, I did. But the story is that I bought this book and Zero Negativity at the same time from my local bookstore. But little did I know that he's got another book, his first book, which I don't have, which is now on my Christmas list and I hope to read as well. So there might be a review on that too. But this book, what is The Fear Bubble about? Now, this is written slightly different to Zero Negativity in the sense that it's centered on the one story of which the lessons all come out through the one story. The story is about how mentally and physically unprepared he was for tackling one of the most biggest goals, which was challenging in itself, which was climbing Mount Everest. Now, I'm in awe and total respect of people who climb Mount Everest or indeed put their bodies and minds through things that I would never, ever contemplate. And he uses a story to explain what he was going through, the people he met, the types of things that they were saying that would sway him off a path and that would put him in situations where his mind or body was starting to shut down, and what he would do in those situations to not switch off, but to switch on, to actually instantly change his perspective or change his actions to move him on to a different path. And so he talked about this concept of the fear bubble. Now, whenever I think of a fear bubble, every time he mentioned it, I'm thinking of those big plastic things that people for fun go in there and they get agitated, they get rolled off hills, and they're all, spun out of control. And that's what happens in our heads when we're constantly thinking and fearing the worst of a situation, whether we place ourselves in very difficult or fearful situations. We start to think, what if? What if people don't like my presentation? What if they're going to say something negative to me? What if I've put all this work and, I lose my job or whatever? So we tend to overthink matters and make what is in here worse than what is actually happening. Now, he doesn't say that there is no such thing as fear. Of course there is such a thing as fear, but it's how we handle that situation and how we could control our minds from not running off and making it bigger than Ben-Hur. So he talks about accepting, having a fear bubble, but not making it envelop our entire life, our entire existence. Instead, looking at that present in time, the moment you are in that fearful situation, the moment you are in that situation, accept it for what it is. Consider the emotions that you're going through, the reactions that your body is going through, and then make some kind of decision and action that will change it, and to not envelop and keep in that negative situation. Because usually what happens, I don't know about you, but I can pinpoint the times where I felt really fearful in my life, and usually in those times I kind of go silent, or I know through my bodily reactions, whether I'm trembling a lot, you just know that you're in this situation where you could spiral out of control. But usually what happens in those situations, something gets triggered, whether it's in your head or someone mentions or says something that instantly makes your mind switch on to take a different action. And so his advice is, make that fear bubble smaller. Don't think about the past. Don't think about the future, because no one really knows the future. No one knows what's going to happen. So just accept it. Tackle that fear, because in the end, you're going to prick it. It's going to disappear. It'll dissipate. And the moment it dissipates, what happens? You usually go, oh crap, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. That happens to me all the time. And then what happens is you get this burst of energy that you go, man, I've done it. It's done. And it's at that point in time where you have grown, you have developed, you have tackled that fear, and you can move on from it, and your mind starts to completely go on a different tangent, and new opportunities and new possibilities open up. So that is the fear bubble, and that is, I guess, in a nutshell, what it is about. Is it a good read? Again, I would say yes, it is, because much of it, when you read it, you go, oh my God, okay, that's pretty straightforward. And you could put yourself in your own situations in your life where you have really been fearful of something and you've made it bigger than Ben-Hur. And you're probably thinking also that you have other people in your life who are negative or kind of taking you down with them. And in which case, you tend to then have this bubble that continually stays with you. Thing is, don't make that fear bubble stay with you. You can prick it, you can move on from it. It just means that you have to kind of take some actions on your part and be strong enough to make those actions and be firm with them to steer you down a different path. So that is the fear bubble. Have you read this book? Let me know what you think. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Bye for now. Happy reading. Oh, do you know how many times I did this? Bloody hell.